One word that comes for me is how grateful I am for this life.
Yeah.
For to be seen by others, it
Right.
is to be seen and experienced by each one of us,
Right.
and together.
Yes.
हम संग संग चल रहे हैं. जो मेरे संग चल रहा है वो मेरा संगा है,
Bilkul.
right?
Yes. So welcome to this podcast called Growing Deeper Together, which is emerged out of your own, conception of mind and the sangha that we have together. And this is a pleasant, sunny afternoon at Delhi. How about you? How's the weather in Goa?
We also have a sunny, pleasant afternoon in Goa.
Great. Great. So, sure, then. I just want to start with this podcast by asking you just a couple of contextual questions first, and then we'll go a little deeper into the conversation. So, as I am aware that you've been doing this self-empowerment work for a very long time, and I'm sure that this is something which is very close to your heart as well. How do you I wouldn't get too much into about when it started, how it started, but how do you, when you look back, how do you see this journey?
When I look back,
Yeah.
the one word that comes for me is how grateful I am for this life.
Yeah.
Now it is like just the opportunity to be able to convey what you have learned with others. Because
Yeah.
I believe every human through the years has learned a lot
Yeah.
from their life. But to be able to have takers for your lived wisdom,
Yes.
I mean, that's hugely fortunate.
Right.
And on top of that, people pay me for that. That is like, ये
Yeah.
तो मैंने कभी भी नहीं सोचा था, कभी नहीं सोचा था. So I see it as, my husband is a retired army officer who earns a pension. And I lived life and I see this now as my pension,
Which is
you
so
know.
beautiful. I think that's the fruit of a life well lived so far, and it's emerging
Yes,
and, making itself so gracefully mature.
yes.
Right. Yes. So I just wondered that, we all, I mean, just to let everybody know, we thought of recording these podcasts because of certain idea that emerged out of the group, and we wanted to share it at a public platform as well. But would you like to share with everybody, how do you see this podcast? What vision do you have in mind? Anything else that you'd like to share about it?
So you see, you are a part of that sangha that we have. I call it a sangha because हम संग संग चल रहे हैं. जो मेरे संग
बिल्कुल.
चल रहा है वो मेरा संगा है,
बिल्कुल.
राइट? तो उसमें क्या है कि we do work on WhatsApp groups, we do work on Google Meet platforms, and it is like a beautiful community growing. And then some people who cannot attend those meetings which are scheduled at one time for whatever reason, so primarily we started this for them,
जी.
that they can also give their questions, and at their own time they can kind of at least be part of that sangha. But because it is on a public platform, so naturally some more people can also join us by just viewing what we are doing. But primarily it is that each one of us now, we have this that we will face the camera, we will ask certain questions, we will have some fun doing it. So I see it as a new expression of creativity. I mean, the whole world is doing it. It's just that we haven't. So it is just all right, let's do this as well.
Absolutely. And, when I see people getting so excited about something, as it's not easy to kind of, come onto the camera and start talking about yourself or your questions. Okay. So, as I was just, and that's so wonderful to kind of, hear your thoughts about this podcast. And of course, each one of us has questions. And as more members of the Sangha would come and talk about those, questions with you. For me to begin with, I have a very simple question. What does growing deeper together, the name of this podcast, mean to you?
Well, for me, everything is about growing because, growth is life.
Absolutely.
And so, like the roots grow deeper,
Yeah,
in search of water, minerals. And as the roots are deep, the shoots go high.
true, true.
Everybody sees the shoots,
Yeah,
but it is the roots which are doing the deeper work.
yes.
So, same is for us,
Mm,
our growth in whichever sense, whether physically, materially, or, whichever area of life
mm,
can be seen or gauged from outside.
right.
But the depths that we have gone into, what work that has gone in at the inner level,
Yes,
that is, not seen. And in any case, that is not for to be seen by others. It
right,
is to be seen and experienced by each one of us,
right.
and together.
Yes. That's such a wonderful thought, Chitraji. And since, this platform is a mutual sharing and, it comes from whatever at the moment, the thoughts and the questions that would emerge. So it's my privilege to actually have this discussion with you. But I was just, maybe we'll get a little deeper into our conversation now. And I was wondering that, there is this all this conversation about inner child, and it's good that everybody is so aware of it. But where is that inner child? Nobody can see it. Yet there is a stereotype that we have created. People sometimes use it for their benefit also, that it was not me, it was the inner child. And sometimes it is like, your inner child needs healing. And sometimes I get overwhelmed with this therapeutic talk also, that all right, it's okay that I do know, as a very layman person, I know that I had, of course, a childhood. I was growing up as a little girl, and now I am a woman of 36-year-old. Where does that, and I know that certain happy moments and certain sad moments have been part of my life, but where does this archetype of inner child comes in? And do we have any responsibility towards this inner child? And I know that you do a lot of work around it, so I thought you're a great person to talk about this.
Well, let's take the example of this particular podcast.
Right.
All right. So there was a child in us who was getting excited about, oh, okay, we are going to, speak about it. Something we'll talk, we'll face the camera. And
Right.
then there was another child inside, a little bit apprehensive.
Yeah.
Even now that we are recording, if something goes wrong and, something sound from the back and you're like, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah.
So there are so many parts of us, we are that one being, but
Right.
it's like a multi-universe lives inside us. It's a
Absolutely.
world inside us. There's so many aspects of us,
Yeah.
that keep interacting or popping up or saying something to us. And that's how our psyche gets constructed, right?
Right.
Then each aspect has a coping mechanism, a compensatory mechanism, an addiction, or some kind of obsession, or, so just kind of observing those parts and accepting each one as a part of me.
Right.
This is who I am as a composite.
Yes.
I'm not just this one person who knows everything or who can answer all questions, or no, that little scared child or that little, you know uh, who wants to be seen or who wants to be heard, who wants to be understood. The child is there.
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
it's a part of me. I mean, so when we why we call it a child, because Sometimes these parts can be very unreasonable, like a child.
Right.
They can be childish or they can be childlike,
Yeah. Right.
right? So, and then because we are grown ups, there is this adult part who
Absolutely.
is very rational, very logical,
Yeah.
you know. So that is how just the terms that have been used.
Mhm. Okay.
Some psychologists, I mean, many psychologists have done,
Yeah.
great work on this. Though the word inner child first came from Carl Jung.
Okay. Okay.
So, but those are just words.
Yeah.
It's just that each one of us is just struggling with some parts of us,
True. True.
not honoring some parts of us.
Mm. I think one can say that there is a little conflict, especially I think when everything emerges and works in harmony, then probably no special attention needs to be paid. Every system is working in itself. But when there is some sort of an inner conflict, then somewhere we need to honor each part. And that this is where I think the inner child who's not been understood for so long probably needs a little more attention and a little more help.
So, you see, this works at every level.
Yeah.
It works as within you as a human,
Yeah.
it works in your family.
Right.
There are different people with somebody behaving differently. Some, we
Yeah.
are not accepting some are feeling not understood, some are feeling not seen, and there isn't harmony there.
Yeah.
Then the workplace, or then the mohalla, or then the country, or, at every level this works.
Absolutely.
That there are so many parts,
Right.
and we are not working in cohesion with each other.
Right.
So, the whole premise of this inner child work is that you can't change the world.
Yeah.
First, you start accepting all that which is expressing through you.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
as you do that, then
Mm.
gradually you will start understanding others. Gradually, you will start accepting others. So, it is not that you have to accept others first, which is what is taught to us,
Right. Right.
you know. But first, we have to accept whatever is emerging from within me.
Mm. And I think that acceptance is so powerful, yet we just keep struggling with, oh, this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't be like this. And within ourselves, also, sometimes you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have, and I think this is where that, parent critique also comes in that, we kind of self sabotage or self punish ourselves also. So this entire dynamic feels very beautiful of an inner parent, inner child, and an inner adult. And somewhere, I mean, I do want to continue this conversation in depth with you, but I would just have a one closing conversation or a question with you, rather, Chitraji, which is like you've mentioned a very beautiful point about acceptance. Now, if you could share any practical examples or something that you see in, like, how one can, there is a lot what I see is that there's a lot of resistance in people, including me, about things. How does one move from resistance to accept? And then somewhere there is this inner child healing also. And I know we are just kind of having these conversations uh, for ourselves and not for a very big purpose, but these are very existential questions one asks. So any thoughts that you have around that?
So, first of all, finding our own peace is the highest purpose. There
Absolutely.
is no other purpose. We don't have to, kind of change the world or save the earth. Or for me, those are not the
Yeah.
purpose of my life. My life purpose is that I stay at peace.
Yeah.
My nervous system stays at rest. It doesn't mean it will never get activated. It doesn't mean that, something will not shake it. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means whenever I'm shaken, whenever I'm activated, I say, this is activation. All right. What do I need to do now to come at rest? And
Right.
that is what the entire universe is doing.
Right.
It's always trying to come to, that state of harmony.
Right.
including our body, including planet Earth. It is, it keeps getting shaken
Right.
and it always keeps trying to come into that homeostasis.
Amazing.
But in the process, some symptoms are seen,
Yes.
right? What we call illness or what we call whatever, climate change.
Right.
Everything is a similar thing, you know. It is just that nature coming back to homeostasis.
Right.
Because everything wants to come back to rest,
Yes.
the Shiva state,
True. True.
right? So now for that, whatever one needs to do,
Mhm.
whether we call it a coping mechanism, whether we call it, uh, some kind of wisdom,
Mhm.
but everything is the intelligence of this body,
Yeah.
this mind, to come back to homeostasis.
Right.
And some things we have learned from childhood, from our homes, from our society, later from books, from teachers, from very learned people, you know. But what works for us works for us. Some things don't work for us.
True.
So I do not have any issue with resistance either.
Oh.
So resistance also must be accepted
True.
as a part of the process.
Yes.
Resistance is also needed sometimes so that you don't move too fast. Like when we were posted in Shimla, and when it would snow, they would put those chains on, the tires of vehicles to offer extra resistance so
True.
that they don't skid.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't know what work resistance is doing inside us.
Wow. Okay. That's such an
So
amazing thought. And sorry, please continue.
yeah, so just to say that whatever is emerging when we say, so
Yeah.
resistance can emerge, anger can emerge,
Yes.
and you have permission to emerge.
Yes. I
So
think
that is excellent.
I think somewhere the ease of allowing needs to be there in an individual, and the more the ease of allowing, I guess this is where one kind of, as you shared at the top of the podcast, resting in peace probably means.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes. So thank you for having this conversation.